From Portland, the tiny house.
We are in Portland, if you couldn't understand him. We're the Freemans. If you haven't met us, 30 days of conscious partnership happening right now. We're the Freemans, authors, speakers, social entrepreneurs, and really, we're ambassadors for partnerships thriving physically, financially, and spiritually. All of those areas you can all be thriving in, and we are excited about today's 30 days of conscious partnership topic, which is...
The question is, can you truly love someone if you don't truly love yourself? It may be a question that you've heard you've heard before, but we want to dive into really get what does this mean? Because you could probably look at the title and say, well, the answer is going to be no, which it is. But let's talk about why, and we'll end with how we can actually start to build love for ourselves such that we put ourselves in a position to actually love someone full out. So the first point is, again, the answer being no. Why is this? Well, why we can't truly love someone else without fully loving ourselves is because that puts us in a position, like we talk about, where relationship now becomes something where one notices a void within themselves and goes out and looks for that feeling, that experience, looking for that missing within somebody else, to say that I'm now fulfilled and I'm now whole and complete and loved. And the thing is, that just doesn't work, because that, number one, builds attachment. So now you're actually setting an unfair expectation, not only for yourself, but for another person. So you are expecting that someone else, and I totally did this for myself, this is why I was single through being 28, I felt that there was a missing in me, that I didn't have the value, that I didn't feel value for myself because everyone else had a relationship, and that meant that somebody accepted them, and because I didn't have that, I felt like I didn't have value. So going back to the point, when looking for what's missing, it's an unfair expectation. Why? Because one, that person can't ever fulfill that for you, because it doesn't start there. It doesn't start exterior, it starts internal. And so the second part is, now you're setting an unfair expectation for yourself, that you're expecting that this partnership, this person that you enter in a relationship with, is going to ultimately going to be able to fill that void in you. So you get in this relationship, yeah, it's going to be fun and exciting. You have all of these conditional experiences that you think is the feeling of love, and ultimately, a year, 2 years, few years down the line, why a relationship's not working out as a whole right now is because this unfair expectation has been set on another and on yourself to feel a certain way that can't be at all fulfilled on anything external from you.
And he really brings up a good point about how, we enter these relationships and we think we love them. And I really looked at for myself when we really started to look into this question for the last several years, is that really it ultimately comes down to, we can't give what we don't have for ourselves. It doesn't make sense. And this isn't even just for love. Think about an analogy of your friend really desires to have a certain book, right? They want the newest Tony Robbins book, okay?
Unshakable.
So your friend really wants this, and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, I want to give that to you. Well, I don't have the book. You'd have to go get the book to give them the book that they desire, right? So that's a simplified example where you can never give what you don't have for yourself. That goes into you can't give someone abundance or money if you don't have that money for yourself. So when it comes to love, which, we won't go into this, but what we think is love in most relationships are, Aaron brought up the words like attachment, expectation. And so for yourself, you first have to go create that love for yourself. And really, it's not yourself like your ego self. We first want to distinguish that it isn't loving yourself like loving the ego, the fear inside of us. It's really loving our higher selves, connected to spirit, to source, to your higher power. When you are like an extension of spirit, that's what you love. And so what would you say to how to build that love?
Yeah, well, a great analogy from Matt Kahn, if you haven't heard of him, is he talks about having an emotional bank account, right? So if you can imagine a financial bank account, you have an emotional bank account. And you make deposits into, let's say, Wells Fargo or Chase, such that then you're able to go out, right? Now you make deposits, now you have $1,000, so now you can go out and give $100, $200, right? But if you go out and don't have any deposits into your account and go out and try to spend money and try to give or buy something for $100, what's going to happen? Rejected. You're not going to be able to buy it. So same point here, same principle. You have an emotional bank account that you first have to make deposits emotionally into your own bank account, such that when you go out to, let's say, write checks out of your account, you actually have a balance there to give from. So this kind of looks like saying and being grateful in the morning. Think of something that you're grateful for about yourself and tell yourself that in the morning. And like really get that. Like I'm sure there's something that at one point in your life you thought was impossible for you to accomplish or achieve, and you've probably accomplished and achieved that now. Whatever the amount of years has taken. So again, in the morning, say something to yourself. Not just I love myself, but say I'm really grateful for, I really committed to it, I was determined, or I made a decision such that for Jocelyn and I, we retired our corporate jobs. I mean, come on. Sometimes I totally forget that. We literally can go anywhere we want. And I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate my old myself for what it took for me to do that. Jocelyn and I wrote a book. We have a thriving referral marketing business that's transforming world health. And many, many people on our team have transformed their lives. And we don't take enough appreciation and gratitude for what that takes for us in our own life. And so in the mornings, just taking that time just to say how grateful you are to yourself.
And it's really powerful if you don't resonate with the word love for yourself, because I know I've had people actually say, how do I know if I love myself? Maybe swap that word for joy, for appreciation. Aaron brought up appreciation. So if you're like, well, how do I know I love? Don't overthink it. Make those appreciation deposits. How do you appreciate yourself every day? Appreciate something, some quality about you, something you've done, accomplished, who you're being, what you're up to. So pour that appreciation that translates to love, really. So making some deposits, and this is applicable if you are not in a relationship and you are dating.
That's cool, I like that.
Mimic here. If you're dating, okay, listen for yourself. And then also, if you already are in a relationship, which is so important, so many of us enter into a relationship and we're like, well, we're set. I have a partner. They love me, so I'm good.
Oh, here we go.
And
this is a downslide.
And they stop pouring love into themselves. And then what happens is your partner has their own experience. Maybe your partner's going through a difficult time, and they aren't doing those things that look like love all of a sudden. And if you haven't been filling your love bank account, all of a sudden you're like, I'm not loved. And you start to deflect that on your partner.
Get it? Woo!
You start to deflect that on your partner going, well, you don't love me. No, they're going through their own experience, having their own things happen in life.
Wow,
we're individual human beings. And because you haven't been pouring that love or appreciation or joy or gratitude to yourself, now you're deflecting that onto your partner going, you don't love me.
Oh, man.
No. So no matter if you're in a 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, 30-year partnership, you've got to continue to pour that love, joy, appreciation into yourself. Affirmations, reading, listening to positive things, moving your body. However it is for you where you experience that appreciation for yourself, being around good people. You want to love yourself? Look, who are you spending time around?
That's good. That's
a huge part of that, is really the energy of people you're around. So, and then going back to the people dating. Do not go into dating and think that you're going to then love yourself or be complete once you have that partner. That is one of the biggest traps in the dating world today. Pour that love into yourself. Go into that date shining. You literally, the person can tell you are so certain and good with yourself, but you're so open to giving and receiving of love because you are filled. You now have something powerful to give. You're not trying to go from -20 to trying to give love to that person you're on a date with. That person can sense your love and appreciation and joy
that check's gonna bounce.
So that really applies to whether you're dating or you are already in a partnership. It never stops. It's never like, well, my family, they love me, so I'm good. It never, ever, ever ends.
That's not love. That's obligation, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying families don't love each other, but mostly I think that's obligation. Something I just thought of. The opposite of this really is to look at, if you have any judgment or comparison, that is not love. That is not going to fill your bank account. So when you notice that you're comparing against somebody else, or you're comparing against someone else's relationship, or you say, I can't love my physical body as much as I can this other person because they're much more in shape, that's not it. Don't go down that path. Judgment and comparison is not going to be how you fill the account. So when you notice those, stop.
Yes. Stop. All right, so pouring love into your bank account, that could be a whole separate topic. Perhaps we'll do that later in the 30 Days of Conscious Partnership. But just start to check in with yourself. What are you doing daily to pour that appreciation and love for yourself, no matter your dating relationship status right now? It never, ever, ever ends. Stop trying to look outside yourself for that love. Connect. Ultimately, what it comes down to is connecting to your source, to your higher power. We call God, Spirit. That's ultimately where you're going to feel that. We're all human. We all have things that we have fears, pitfalls, things we're growing through. But when you daily connect to God, that's where you're going to feel that love truly. Or again, if you have a different name for that source. Any last words?
Nope.
He's good. We're going to go have some fun in Portland today. If you would like to stay connected, please like our page. We have more 30 Days of Conscious Partnership coming up, as well as lots of exciting new resources that we will be launching for you all very soon. We're the Freemans, and talk to you soon.